Well, hello everyone and welcome to Momentum channel. My name is Mo, and in this video, we're going to be talking about our stock market investment portfolio that we have with Wealthsimple Trade, how we are expanding and growing this portfolio over time, and the amount of dividend that we received in this portfolio last month. I also provide a walkthrough of the different holdings in this account and what stocks or ETFs we are planning to buy in the stock market in the week ahead. Let's get into it. Before I provide a walkthrough of our dividend income last month, I want to quickly walk you through our overall portfolio. Currently showing a total value of $281,218 in Canadian dollars. Because we have a Wealthsimple Plus account, our accounts consist of two portions, the Canadian dollar portion as well as the US dollar portion. As an example, we have a total of 6 positions in our personal account, mainly in our Canadian dollar portion of it. We have some funds, in fact, 5 shares of Tesla here, and that is in our US dollar portion of the account. Next, we have our tax-free savings account consisting of 5 total positions. The breakdown is shown here, as well as our registered retirement savings plan. If you look at the latest dividend income that we've had in this portfolio, they are listed out here for you. Some of these dividend came from shares that we do no longer hold. We have actually sold them off since then, but we managed to still collect their dividends because we were eligible for those dividend incomes before we sold off those shares. More specifically, if you look at the dividend income broken down here, the same ones that I just showed you separately, I've added them up, divided them by Canadian dollars dividend and US dollar dividends. We had approximately $10 US in dividend income and around 764 in Canadian dollars, bringing it a total of approximately $780 in dividend income in Canadian dollars, which was a massive amount of dividend we received. Some of it came from some of the funds that my wife has. She had approximately $225 in Canadian dollars dividend income that she earned, mainly from her shares of VDY, which is our largest holding in our portfolio. Why don't I walk you through our specific holdings in this account? Our personal non-registered account mainly consists of 5 different ETFs. Our largest holding across our account is Vanguard 𝐻𝐈𝐿 Canadian High Dividend Yield Index ETF, ticker symbol VDY. We have approximately 2,100 shares of it in our non-registered account, 700 plus in our tax-free savings account, and 150 shares in our RSP account. You do notice that the VFV does pay a nice dividend yield of 4.80%, close to that 5% dividend yield. It does pay their dividend distributions though on a monthly basis. So every month we collect some dividend income from VDY. Our second largest holdings across our accounts is VFV, or Vanguard S&P 500 Index ETF. This holding gives us exposure to the 500 largest US dollar companies. Majority of these holdings are in our non-registered account, close to 581 shares here, and it's up actually by about 7%. And then we have some shares of it in our TFSA account, which is up by close to 6%, and 151 shares in the RSP account, up by close to that 6% mark as well. The VFV does pay dividend distributions on a quarterly basis with an annual yield of 1.31%. And we're expecting to collect some of those dividends in the month of April. So stay tuned for our next video at the end of next month, whereby we walk you through in terms of our dividend income we are going to get from this portfolio. Our next big holding here in terms of ETFs is actually shares of V, or Vanguard 𝐻𝐈𝐿 Emerging Markets All Cap Index ETF. It is currently showing to be up by about that 3% mark, and we have 311 shares of it roughly in our non-registered account. V does pay dividend distribution on a quarterly basis. And then our next big holding is in terms of ETFs is shares of BlackRock Canada iShares Core MSCI East and Far East IMI Index ETF, the ticker symbol 𝐿𝐋𝐈𝐿. 300 shares, it's up currently by about 9% and does pay annual dividend yield of 2.71%. The 𝐿𝐋𝐈𝐿 does pay its dividends on a biannual basis. And that wraps up for the all ETFs that we have here in the Canadian portion of this account. On the USD front, as I mentioned, we have 5 shares of Tesla. It's currently up by 8%. If we hover over to our shares of tax-free savings account, TFSA, on the Canadian front, we have the VDY and VFE that I talked to you about. On the USD front, we have shares of Google. We have 45 shares. It's up currently by 4%. We have 43 shares of NEO. It's down massive by 70%. We touched on that on a previous video last week, and our plans to gradually but slowly and safely take advantage of dollar cost averaging for that. We do have shares of Tesla as well that is currently up by 8% here. And lastly, if I hover over to our registered retirement savings plan, we have VDY and VFE on the Canadian portion of it, on the USD portion of it, aside from shares of Tesla that we talked about earlier, we have shares of Apple. We have 20 shares. It's up by 11%. And 59 shares of Amazon. It's currently up by 1.3%. In terms of our game plan for the stock market in the week ahead, what we plan to do as we collect more dividend income, we want to reinvest those just like what we have done. We are not cashing out those dividend income. We are going to repurpose and buy more shares of high quality ETFs or stocks. The ones that we are going to focus more closely on and buy and add to our portfolio in the week ahead would be VFV, the S&P 500 version of Canadian dollars through Vanguard, as well as shares of VDY. Very slowly. We don't want to buy too much shares of VDY because we already have a large exposure to Canadian markets. But here and there, given that the price of VDY have already pulled back compared to a few weeks ago, we want to gradually add some shares of VDY, and we don't mind at all getting those additional monthly dividend income from VDY. On the US dollar front, what we plan to do, we want to gradually buy shares of Tesla, but very slowly. We want to watch out for it. Tesla had a really amazing run last week, so we want to wait for a little bit of pullback, possibly to add more. And Tesla would have its earnings as well coming up in the month of April, so we want to be very cautious with that. We don't want to overly buy shares of Tesla because we don't know how it's going to go, though we are positive that the earnings would have some positive surprises. But again, time will tell. We don't have a magic ball to know that for a fact. The other shares that we are going to gradually add to our holdings is Amazon. We already have a nice, kind of exposure to shares of Amazon, but still Amazon is quite down compared to about a year ago. I believe it's down by approximately 40% since its all-time highs in the past 1 year. So we want to gradually buy shares of Amazon in the weeks ahead. I hope you found this video beneficial and gained something of value from it. If you did, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to our channel. Here on Momentum Finance, we post videos about investing, including investing in high quality growth and dividend stocks, as well as ETFs. And we also talk about the important topic of reaching financial freedom. I also encourage you to leave us a comment down below. Let me know what holdings you are adding to your positions and portfolio right now. And perhaps do let me know if you are a dividend investor, how much dividend income you collected in the stock market last month. I'd love to hear from you. I will read through each and every comment and respond to them appropriately. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching this video until the end. I hope to see you all next time.